You're listening to Alex Manners on the Solihull Radio Children's Show. Good morning, boys and girls. I'm Alex Manners, and welcome to my live Solihull Radio Children's Show, where I will be with you right up until 10 a.m. this morning, with lots and lots and lots of wonderful, wonderful things to play for you, including a host of songs to get you moving and grooving for the rest of your weekend. I've got some stories to read for you, some facts, and I've got another adventure of Rainbow Man, where today he will be visiting somewhere very, very exciting, which you can all find out about a little bit later on in my show, when we can all join him on his adventure with his friends Giddy Gordon, Grumpy Doug and Awesome Alex. Also, if you would like to send in any birthday messages, then you can text those birthday messages to me here in the studios on 075 64 30 30 64. That's texting your birthday messages to 075 64 30 30 64. Or alternatively, you could email them in to us on studio@solihullradio.com. That's studio@solihullradio.com. And also today, I'm going to be playing you some excerpts of some of my favourite children's shows. And the two excerpts that I'm going to be playing for you are excerpts from a show that my mum used to watch when she was younger, called Trumpton, and a show that I used to watch when I was younger, called The Koala Brothers. So, see if anyone can remember the two theme songs for Trumpton and The Koala Brothers. Here we go.
Here is the clock, the Trumpton clock, telling the time steadily, sensibly, never too quickly, never too slowly, telling the time for Trumpton.
It's the Koala Brothers.
Frank, Buster, you've got to help me.
Sure, we're here to help.
Call the Koala Brothers, call the Koala Brothers, call the Koala Brothers, call the Koala Brothers, help is on its way.
Well, did any of you recognise those two theme songs for Trumpton and the Koala Brothers? Well, if you did, or if you didn't, then I've got some excerpts of those two shows coming up for you a little bit later. But before I read you one of my favourite stories that I'm going to read for you this morning, here is a song to get you all moving and grooving for the rest of my children's show this morning. And the song I've chosen for you is a Disney song called You'll Be in My Heart. So boys and girls, get up and get moving and grooving and get ready for this song. It's a Disney song, You'll Be in My Heart.
Stop your crying, it will be alright. Just take my hand, hold it tight. I will protect you from all around you. I will be here, don't you cry. For one so small, you seem so strong. My arms will hold you, keep you safe and warm. This bond between us can't be broken. I will be here, don't you cry.
That was You'll Be In My Heart, a classic Disney tune, and I hope it got you all moving and grooving and ready for my show this morning, where I will be with you right up until 10 a.m. with lots and lots of wonderful things. Well, now it's time for me to read you one of those first stories that I have here to read for you, and the story I've chosen for you today is one of the Little Miss stories that has been written by Roger Hargreaves. And the Little Miss story I've chosen for you today is called Little Miss Greedy. So, if you're all sitting comfortably, here we go with Little Miss Greedy. Little Miss Greedy certainly was. What? Greedy. I'll say, as greedy as a giant. And giants are really very greedy indeed. Little Miss Greedy lived in Cherry Cake Cottage. One lovely summer morning, a Monday, Little Miss Greedy awoke earlier than usual. She felt rather hungry, and so she went into her kitchen and cooked herself some breakfast. Some breakfast indeed. Sausages? Now, if you had sausages for breakfast, or if I had sausages for breakfast, how many sausages would you have? 1, perhaps 2, maybe 3. Guess how many sausages Little Miss Greedy had for breakfast? 66. Go on, count them. 66 succulent, sizzling sausages, which is difficult to say, and even more difficult to eat, unless you're Little Miss Greedy. Little Miss Greedy cut the last sausage on her plate in 2 and popped it into her mouth. She sighed contentedly. That was nice, she thought to herself. Now, what else shall I have? Guess what? Toast. Now, if you had toast for breakfast, or if I had toast for breakfast, how many slices would we have? Perhaps 2? Maybe 3? Guess how many slices of toast Little Miss Greedy had? 23. 23 thick, tasty slices of tempting toast and marmalade. Just as Little Miss Greedy was licking the last crumb off her 23rd slice of toast from her lips, there was a knock at the door of Cherry Cake Cottage. It was the postman. "Letter for you, Little Miss Greedy," he said, cheerfully. "Oh, good," smiled Little Miss Greedy, for she liked it when someone sent her a letter. "Would you like a cup of tea while you're here?" she asked. "I'm going to have one." One indeed. Just look at the size of Little Miss Greedy's teapot. The postman had 1 cup of tea and a chat, thanked Little Miss Greedy, and left. Little Miss Greedy poured herself another cup, another after the 11 other cups she'd already had, and opened her letter. It was from her cousin, Mr. Greedy. "Dear Little Miss Greedy," he had written. He always wrote to his cousin in this way. "Next Wednesday is my birthday. Please come to tea at 4 o'clock. Little Miss Greedy was delighted. She hadn't seen her cousin for quite some time. Wednesday was a lovely day. After a little light lunch, I'll tell you what later, Little Miss Greedy set off in her car to drive to Mr. Greedy's house. But before she set off, she put something on the back of her seat. Something large. Mr. Greedy's birthday present. At 4 o'clock precisely, Little Miss Greedy pulled up in front of Mr. Greedy's roly-poly sort of house. Mr. Greedy was there to meet her. "Hello, Little Miss Greedy," he smiled. "How lovely to see you after all this time." "Happy birthday," laughed Little Miss Greedy, and she gave Mr. Greedy a big kiss. Mr. Greedy blushed. "Do come in," he said. "Tea's all ready." Little Miss Greedy was following Mr. Greedy into his house when she remembered something. "You know what it was, don't you?" "That's right, Mr. Greedy's birthday present." "Wait a minute," she said. "Can you help me to lift something out of the back of the car, please?" She smiled. "It's rather heavy," she added. "Certainly," agreed Mr. Greedy. There, on the back of the seat of Little Miss Greedy's car, was the biggest birthday cake you've ever seen in your life. A huge, enormous, gigantic, colossal currant cake with thick pink icing on top and strawberry jam in the middle. "I only put 1 candle on it," explained Little Miss Greedy, as they carried it into the house, "because I've forgotten how old you are." "Oh, you shouldn't have," laughed Mr. Greedy. He licked his lips. "But I'm glad you did." "I baked it today," said Little Miss Greedy. And then she chuckled. I have a confession to make, she said. This isn't the only cake I baked today. The first one looked so delicious, I ate it for breakfast. She chuckled again. And the second one looked so delicious, she went on. I ate that one for my lunch. Mr. Greedy grinned from ear to ear. Time for tea, little Miss Greedy, he said. And that story was Little Miss Greedy, written by Roger Hargreaves. You're listening to Alex Manners on the Solihull Radio Children's Show. And don't forget, if any of you boys and girls would like to read a story on my show, then you can record yourselves reading one of your favourite stories and email the recording in to studio@solihullradio.com. Or alternatively, you could send me those recordings of you reading some of your favourite children's stories to me, direct Alex Manners, on Facebook or Twitter. So if you go down on social media and find Alex Manners on Facebook or Twitter, then you can send me the recordings of you reading some of your favourite children's stories. And here is another song, and this song is our favourite song here on the Solihull Radio Children's Show. And can anyone guess which song it is? Yes, that's right, it's Bob the Builder with Mambo number 5.
Are you ready, Bob?
Yes.
What about you, lovely?
I'm a bit scared. Okay, team, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody's outside, so come on, let's ride to the builder's yard around the corner. The gang's all here, and it's time for us to do what we wanna. There's a house with a roof that leaks. It's an urgent job, and it could take us weeks. There's Dizzy, Lofty, and Rolly too. Wendy always knows just what to do. And there's no job too big or small. With scoop and mud, we can do it all. Metal, brick, or wood, it's all good, and we can always send in the tractor. A little bit of timber and a saw. A little bit of fixing, that's for sure. A little bit of digging up the roads. A little bit of moving heavy loads. A little bit of tiling on the roof. A little bit of making waterproof. A little bit of concrete mixed with sand. A little bit of Bob the Builder Man. Careful, Dizzy. Jump up and down and move it all around. Mix it up to the sound. Dig a hole in the ground. Take one step left and one step right. And one to the front and one to the side. Clap your hands once and clap your hands twice. And if it looks like this, then you're doing it right. A little bit of timber and a saw. A little bit of fixing, that's for sure. A little bit of digging up the roads. A little bit of moving heavy loads. A little bit of tiling on the roof. A little bit of making waterproof. A little bit of concrete mixed with sand. A little bit of Bob the Builder Man. Mambo number 6 and 7, 8.
Is this Mambo number 5?
That's a lovely job, Bob.
A little bit of timber and a saw. A little bit of fixing, that's for sure. A little bit of digging up the roads. A little bit of moving heavy loads. A little bit of tiling on the roof. A little bit of making waterproof. A little bit of concrete mixed with sand. A little bit of Bob the Builder Man. There's Rolly, Lofty, Scoop, Mop, and Dizzy. So much work to keep us all busy. Can we fix it? Yes, we can. With the team and Bob the Builder Man.
Yes, we can.
All right. Lovely. A little bit of Bob, Bob, Bob the Builder Man.
Mambo number 5. And I hope you're all moving and grooving to that song, because I know we certainly were here in the studios. And here is the first excerpt of one of those old children's shows that I'm going to be playing for you this morning. And the excerpt is from a show called The Koala Brothers. And the excerpt is called The Koala Brothers, Archie's New Home. So I hope you all enjoy listening to The Koala Brothers and Archie's New Home.
If you're in trouble and you need someone to help you out, there's no need to whistle and there's no need to shout. Hey, 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 help is on its way. Call the Koala Brothers, call the Koala Brothers, call the Koala Brothers, call the Koala Brothers, help is on its way.
You might be wondering why one day a little crocodile was sitting in the middle of nowhere playing a ukulele. Well, I can tell you. He was the Koala Brothers' new neighbour, and he was waiting for Frank to come and pick him up in the plane. Back at the homestead, Frank was getting ready to fly out.
Stand by.
Standing by.
Chocks away, Buster. Chocks away, Frank. Get the gate, Ned.
I'm getting the gate, Frank.
While Frank was collecting their new neighbour, Buster and Ned had another job to do. A job that made them both a little worried.
What are you two doing?
Frank says we've got to go and clean the house by the waterhole.
What? The scary house? The one with the creaky door? No one ever goes there. I bet you're too scared to go there.
We're not scared, are we, Ned?
No.
The old house by the waterhole had stood empty for a long time.
Do I have to come with you?
Well, I'm not going in there on my own, Ned. Frank said we have to get it ready for our new neighbour.
Even the door made a scary squeaky noise.
There's no way I'm going anywhere near that place.
Wait, Ned! Wait for me!
It wasn't long before Frank returned with their new neighbour.
Hello! I'm going to like it here.
Buster! Hello! Come and meet our new friend.
Mr. Buster. Nice to meet you. The name's Archibald P. Crocodilus, but you can call me Archie. I'm looking forward to making lots of new friends.
Come on, Buster. Let's help Archie take his things down to the waterhole. Buster and Ned have cleaned up the house by the waterhole for you. Haven't you, Buster?
Buster didn't really want to admit that they were too scared of Archie's house to do the cleaning. And no one was more scared than Ned.
This place looks lovely. I can't wait to meet everyone. I love having visitors and making new friends.
Oops. You did clean the house.
What a funny noise.
Funny? Most people think that sounds scary.
Oh, no, I don't. I think it's funny. Listen. Like funny, squeaky music. I love it.
At least Archie was happy in his new home. The next morning, Alice came out to the waterhole. She'd never liked passing the scary house.
Hello? Morning! I haven't had any visitors yet. It's early days. Give it time. Will do.
Oh, come on, Ned. Come out and meet Archie.
I'm not coming out. Anyone who lives in a scary house has got to be scary too.
Still no visitors? Do you think I'll get to make some new friends soon?
I'm sure you will.
You know, chaps, I've had an idea. I've decided to invite everyone to a party at my house. That way, I can make lots of new friends.
I think that's a very good idea. I'll give you a list of people to invite.
So Archie made up some party invitations and posted them in town.
Have you got your invitation to the party, George?
What party?
The one at the house by the waterhole.
Yeah, I think I'm busy that day. Gotta go. See ya.
Everyone got their invitations.
Are you going to go, Josie?
To the scary house? I don't think so.
No one's going. No one wants to go to the scary house.
Frank, when can we eat?
I told you, we have to wait until everyone else arrives. Why don't we play some music together?
Not tonight, if you don't mind.
Though Archie put a brave face on it, it was obvious that he was disappointed that hardly anyone had come to his party.
I am a nice chap, don't you think?
Yes, of course you are, Archie.
Definitely. Can we eat?
Then why didn't anyone come to my party?
Wait a minute. Somebody's coming.
Hello, Ned. I didn't think you were coming.
Buster said there'd be balloons and cake. Are there any left?
Hello, Mr. Ned. Oh, come in, come in.
No! I don't like the sound of the scary door. Please don't open it.
That's it. I know what the problem is.
You do?
Everyone thinks this old house is scary.
It is, isn't it?
Doesn't seem scary to me.
That's why nobody's come to your party. They're too scared to come to this creaky old house.
Is that true, Ned? I've got an idea.
And so the next day, Frank and Buster and Ned all helped Archie redecorate the old house. And they even oiled the squeaky old door.
What do you think, Mr. Ned?
I like it.
Nobody could be scared of this place now.
And so the new friends decided to have another party. And this time, everyone came along. Thanks to Frank and Buster, the party was a big success.
Oh, I was never scared. As soon as I got my invitation, I thought I'd go...
And Archie finally did get his wish to make lots of new friends.
You're listening to Alex Manners on the Solihull Radio Children's Show. What school subject is the fruitiest? History, because it's full of dates. And I forgot to tell all you boys and girls that I'm joined in the studio by a very, very fantastic young man called Joe. and he's just chosen 2 songs to play for you now, and they're 2 fantastic Disney songs that he's chosen. One from Brother Bear called On My Way, and a Tangled song called When Will My Life Begin. So I hope you enjoy all these songs, just like we have. Disney songs On My Way from Brother Bear and When Will My Life Begin from Tangled. So here we go, and I hope they get you jiving and bopping for the rest of my show.
Skies ahead, yes, I'm on my way, and there's nowhere else that I'd rather be. Tell everybody I'm on my way, and I'm loving every step I take. With the sun beating down, yes, I'm on my way, and I can't keep this smile off my face. Stories that we tell will make you smile. Oh, it really lifts my heart. So tell them all I'm on my way. New friends and new places to see, and to sleep under the stars. Who could ask for more? With the moon keeping watch over me. Not the snow, not the rain can change my mind. The sun will come out, wait and see. And the feeling of the wind in your face can lift your heart. Oh, there's nowhere I would rather be, 'cause I'm on my way now, well and truly. I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now. I'm on my way now. I'm on my way
Oh, come on, Pascal. It's not so bad in there.
The usual morning lineup. Start on the chores and sweep till the floor's all clean. Polish and wax, do laundry and mop and shine up. Sweep again, and by then it's like 7:15, and so I'll wait up, or maybe 2 or 3. I'll add a few new paintings to my gallery. I'll play guitar and knit and cook and basically just wonder when will my life begin. bit of ballet and chess, pottery and ventriloquy, candle making. Then I'll stretch, maybe sketch, take a climb, sew a dress, and I'll reread the books if I have time to spare. I'll paint the walls some more, I'm sure there's room somewhere. Then I'll brush and brush and brush and brush my hair, stuck in the same place I've always been. And I'll keep wondering, 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 when will my life begin? Tomorrow night, the lights will appear, just like they do on my birthday each year. What is it like out there where they glow? Now that I'm older, Mother might just let me go.
Well, thank you, Joe, for choosing those songs. They were brilliant, brilliant songs, and I know I really enjoyed listening to them, and I hope that got you all moving and grooving and bopping and jiving. I've got some fun, fantastic, and fascinating facts to read for you all now, and the fun, fantastic, and fascinating facts are all about the pyramids in Egypt. So, here we go with the fun, fantastic, and fascinating facts all about pyramids. Fun, fantastic, and fascinating fact 1. The largest of the pyramids was the one built for the pharaoh Khufu. People also called this structure the Great Pyramid of Giza. It once stood at 146 meters tall. It was the tallest man-made structure for 3,800 years, until the Eiffel Tower was built. Fun, fantastic, and fascinating fact 2. It is estimated that the building of the Great Pyramid of Giza took over 23 years to build. Wow, that's a long time. Fun, fantastic, and fascinating fact 3. Inside the pyramids, rooms for family members, our servants, were built and were placed near the pharaoh's chamber to help him in the afterlife. Wow. And fun, fantastic, and fascinating fact 4. There were also fake burial chambers, and there were passages that would try and trick anyone who tried to rob the pyramids. With such valuable treasures inside, the pyramids were often robbed. And fun, fantastic, and fascinating fact 5 is all about King Tutankhamun. King Tutankhamun's tomb was rediscovered in 1933 by Howard Carter, and it still had the solid gold funerary mask of the late pharaoh. This was an amazing discovery, because the tomb was raided twice before it was discovered. And the last fact, fun, fascinating, and fantastic, fact 6. Scientists think that the large blocks used to build the pyramids were cut by the workers, transported along the River Nile, and then moved up the pyramids on ramps. So those were the fun, fantastic, and fascinating facts this week, all about the pyramids of Egypt. And next week, don't worry, I'll have some more fun, fantastic, and fascinating facts to read for you on my Sunday show. And now this morning, before I came into the studios, I was at home and I was listening to one of my friends on my phone singing one of my favourite Disney songs called A Whole New World from the Aladdin movie. So I thought I'd play you that today on my show. So here we go with A Whole New World from Aladdin.
I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, princess, now when did you last let your heart decide? I can open your eyes, take you wonder by wonder, over, sideways, and under, on a magic carpet ride. A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. No one to tell us no, or where to go, or say we're only dreaming.
A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew.
path
to
gets
see.
better.
I'm like a shooting star. I've come so far. I can't go back to where I used to be. Every turn a surprise.
Horizons
Every moment red letter. I'll chase them anywhere. There's time to spare. Let me share this whole new world with you.
a whole new world. That's where we'll be.
That's where we'll be.
A thrilling chase.
A wondrous place for you and
The time now is 8:40, and it's time for me to play another excerpt from one of those old children's shows. And this show is one that my mum used to watch when she was younger, with Pew, Pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble and Grub, and they were firemen from the film Trumpton. And this excerpt is called Trumpton, the Bill Poster. So I hope you all really, really enjoy listening to Trumpton, the Bill Poster. Here we go.
Here is the clock, the Trumpton clock, telling the time steadily, sensibly, never too quickly, never too slowly, telling the time for Trumpton. Mr. Munnings, the printer, is making sure his watch is right. Here's Chippy Minton and his son, Nibs. Morning, Chippy. Hello, Nibs. Just off to work? Yes, says the carpenter. Going to make a notice board for Mr. Clamp. Very useful. I'm going to print some posters for the Fire Brigade band concerts. Good, says Nibs. We like the band concerts. Come on, Nibs. We'd better get started. Yes, Mr. Munnings' watch is quite right. Now he's making sure that his printing press is quite right. All the metal letters are set in position. Printers call them type. Just one or two to be straightened up. I line up all the letters with spaces in between and clamp them in the printing press, a wonderful machine. Posters are in capitals, bold and fat and tall, but the printing in the Daily News is often rather small. Now the inky roller comes down the type and back and makes the letters ready to be printed clear and black. I check the pile of paper, for every single sheet will be printed by the inky type with letters clear and neat. When they have a flag day, I print the little flags, notices and labels, and even paper bags. I make the letters stand up straight and keep the paper clean. Then the job will be as good as anyone has seen. Now, what have we got? Trumpton Park Fire Brigade Band concerts every Thursday, 2:30 p.m. Lovely job, that. Nice and black, no smudges. Now to ring the fire station. Trumpton Fire Station. Hello, Captain Flack. Good morning, sir. Munnings here, the printer. I've just finished your posters for the band concerts. Would you care to collect them? Yes, yes, by all means. We'll pick them up right away, right away. The men will be delighted. Pew, pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble, Grub. That was quick work, sir, says Mr. Munnings. I was talking to you on the phone only a minute ago. Not bad, says Captain Flack. 4.5 minutes, all good practice, keeps the men on their toes, you know. These the posters? That's right, sir, says Mr. Munnings. And a lovely job they are, too, though I say it myself. I suppose you'll be getting Nick Fisher to put them up for you. He's a very good bill sticker, says Mr. Munnings. No, we'll do it ourselves. Simple job putting up posters. Anyone could do it. Good for the men in any case. Use their initiative and all that. But Mr. Munnings isn't so sure. Firemen are firemen, he says to himself, and bill posters are bill posters. I think he'd do better with Nick Fisher myself. Now, men, I want you two to put a poster on every pillar box in the town. Fireman Grubb, sir, start pasting, if you please. But the policeman has other ideas about that. I'm afraid you can't do that, sir, says the policeman. What? What? Why not? Asks Captain Flack. This pillar box belongs to the post office. Nobody else is allowed to stick anything on it. I'm very sorry, but it's against the law. Oh, says Captain Flack. Pity. Still, the law's the law, I suppose. Yes, sir, it certainly is, says the policeman. Good day, sir. Chippy Minton and his son Nibs have just finished the notice board for Mr. Clamp, the greengrocer. Ah, says Captain Flack, just the job. Firemen Pew and Pew. Sir, sir. A poster on this board, if you please. Oh, I'm very sorry, Captain Flack, says Mr. Clamp, but that's my notice board. It's to let people know what's cheap today. Lemons 5 a shilling, fresh spring greens, that sort of thing. Oh, says Captain Flack, that sort of thing. I see. Pity. I expect Chippy Minton would make you a board of your own very cheaply, suggests Mr. Clamp. No time for that, says Captain Flack. These posters have got to go up at once. Never mind, we'll find somewhere. Come along, men. proper poster hoarding. There can't be anything wrong with this. A poster in that blank space, if you please. Man the engine. Drive to the wall. Elevate. Stop! Oh dear, it's Nick Fisher, the bill poster. Hey, he says, I'm afraid you can't do that, sir. What? What? Why not, eh? Because, explains Nick, the people who own that hoarding have to be paid when you stick a poster on it. You pay them, they pay me, and I stick the poster on. Absurd, says Captain Flack, quite absurd. Still, the law's the law. There's only one thing to do. Go home. Now, men, says Captain Flack, this fire station belongs to us, right? Right. In that case, declares the captain, we can certainly stick one of our posters on our fire station, right? Right. Good. Follow me. I want that wall covered with posters. Get pasting. It's all very well for you to laugh, says Fireman Grubb. You'd look just as funny trying to put out a fire. I expect I would, says Nick, but then I'm just a bill poster, not a fireman. Mr. Fisher, says Captain Flack wearily, would you care to show us how it's done? By all means, says Nick. Pasting up the posters, sticking up the bills, putting up advertisements for sausages and pills, flower shows and concerts, you can take your pick, all neatly stuck by Bill Sticker Nick. As I thought, says Captain Flack. Perfectly simple once you know how. Still, perhaps it is best done by an expert. Would you help us out with the rest of the posters, Mr. Fisher? It's a rush job, I'm afraid. Never mind that, Captain, says Nick. I'll have them all over the town in half an hour. My goodness, it's nearly time for the band concert. Fetch your instruments, men. We'll clear this lot up later.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Let us who? Let us in and you'll find out.
Feeling young and strong. I never wanna grow up thinking it's too late. A crazy world out there, like a giant bubble for us all to share. This is the moment where we show you that we care. Don't ever hesitate to show us your love. So can't you see that we only live for the music? Don't you know that it makes us feel so alive? Can't you see that we only live for the music? Don't you know that we only live for that time? Sometimes life feels slow, but Jake is here to tell you what you need to know. See, I'm small, okay, and that means that I do things in my special way. This is the moment where we show you that we care. Don't ever hesitate to show us your love. So can't you see that we only live for the music? Don't you know that it makes us feel so alive? Can't you see that we only live for the music? Don't you know that we only live for that time? Can you see? Can you see that we only live for the music? Don't you know that it makes us feel so alive? Can you see that we only live for the music? Don't you know that we only live for that time? Can you see that we only live for the music? Don't you know that it makes us feel so
And so ends the mission. The long journey home begins. But you never know when the next adventure will be. Watch this space.
That was the Tweenies with Bella, Milo, Fizz, Jake and their dog Doodles. And it's now time for you all to go on an adventure with Rainbow Man and his friends Giddy Gordon, Grumpy Doug and Awesome Alex. And today Rainbow Man is visiting the Withall Transport Museum. So, if you're all ready, then we can go on our adventure with Rainbow Man, where he is going to the Withall Transport Museum. Here we go. He is here, he is there, Rainbow Man is everywhere. Seek him here, seek him there, see him in his rainbow chair. Hello, Rainbow Man. I wonder where you are going today. Rainbow Man stands up with a big cheeky smile on his face. You look very happy there, Rainbow Man. Do you know where you are going today? Rainbow Man shakes his head. Well, Rainbow Man, you will be visiting the Withall Transport Museum today. Rainbow Man starts to cheer, woohoo! He then asks if we will get to see lots of old cars in the museum. Well, we won't see any cars, but we will see lots of buses and battery-operated vehicles, like old milk floats. Rainbow Man asks what a milk float is. A milk float is a vehicle designed specifically to carry milk. You may have seen milkmen driving milk floats, delivering milk to people's houses. Rainbow Man says that his neighbours have milk delivered to their houses in glass bottles, and he always thought the vehicles the milkmen were driving were really funny. Right, time for an adventure. Off we go. Rainbow Man zooms up in his chair and starts swirling around with lots of colourful swirls. Swirling here, swirling there, Rainbow Man goes everywhere. Rainbow Man appears in the car park at the Withall Transport Museum. You have arrived outside, Rainbow Man. Let's go and have a look in that building over there. Rainbow Man goes over to the building and reads the sign on the door outside. It reads, The Power Hall Exhibition. I think this is the building where we will be able to see all of the buses. Rainbow Man thinks for a while and then goes inside. He starts looking at all of the posters on the walls. That is a poster showing pictures of what buses looked like throughout different periods in history. Do you know when the first bus was driven? Rainbow Man shakes his head. It was back in 1904 when the company Midland Red first introduced buses. However, they found them unreliable and reverted back to the old mode of using horses. It was not until 1912 that they started using buses again. Rainbow Man can't wait to see some real buses. Look behind you over here. I have found some old bus signs high up on the wall. There are red signs, green signs, blue signs, brown signs, black signs and yellow signs. Rainbow Man says that there are signs in all different colours, but there are no pink signs. No, Rainbow Man, you are right. There are no pink signs. Rainbow Man then sees a cabinet full of toy buses. Have you found lots of toys, Rainbow Man? Rainbow Man nods his head. He can see lots of little toy buses and some big toy buses. Rainbow Man then gets the first sight of some real buses and starts running over to them. Wait, Rainbow Man, don't run. You don't want to hurt yourself. The first bus that Rainbow Man has a look at is a big blue and cream coloured bus. That is a double-decker bus, Rainbow Man, as it has a downstairs and an upstairs. It says on this sign that it is a standard Birmingham bus from 1934 to 1939. Rainbow Man then spots a funny-looking bus that looks like it has a ladder on top of it. That is an old fire engine. After we have had a look at all of the buses and electrical vehicles, I have a surprise for you. Rainbow Man asks if we will tell him what the surprise is. It would not be a surprise if we told you, would it, Rainbow Man? Do you want to go and have a look at some of the electrical vehicles now? Rainbow Man nods his head. In the building that houses the electrical vehicles, Rainbow Man can see milk floats, bakery vehicles, and even more buses. I think there is someone else in here as well, Rainbow Man. I think he is over there, looking at the big red buses. Rainbow Man wants to look at those buses anyway, so he goes over to see who it may be. It's Grumpy Doug. Hello, Grumpy Doug. Grumpy Doug grumbles hello to Rainbow Man. We came in here to look at all of the electrical vehicles. Why don't you come and look at them with us? Grumpy Doug does not want to come and look at them with us. Come on, Grumpy Doug. They look very funny vehicles. Reluctantly, Grumpy Doug agrees to come and have a look at all the electrical vehicles. What have we here then? Only the largest collection of battery electrical road vehicles. There are orange, red, blue, and cream milk floats. There is even a big green bread van. Grumpy Doug thinks that the bread van looks like a big green caravan. It does look a bit like a caravan, Grumpy Doug. It has the same shape, but there are no windows in the back like a caravan. Rainbow Man starts walking away from the electrical vehicles to the front of the building. Where are you going, Rainbow Man? Oh, you are going to look at that pink vehicle. I wondered when you would spot the pink vehicle. It is a van from 1947. It looks a bit tired and not so well looked after as some of the other vehicles we have seen. This is Rainbow Man's favourite vehicle that he has seen today. He likes it because of the colour. I have the surprise for you now, Rainbow Man. Rainbow Man is very excited for the surprise. He goes outside and can see a very old bus waiting in the car park. He can see lots of people climbing aboard. Can you see what your surprise is, Rainbow Man? It's a trip on an old bus. Rainbow Man starts to cheer, woohoo! Would you like to come on the bus as well, Grumpy Doug? Grumpy Doug shakes his head. He wants to stay where he is. Well, okay, and goodbye. Rainbow Man waves goodbye to Grumpy Doug, and Grumpy Doug just stands there and does not wave back. Grumpy Doug was very grumpy today. Rainbow Man agrees. As Rainbow Man climbs aboard the bus, he can see Giddy Gordon and Awesome Alex at the back. They both start waving at him. Rainbow Man waves back. Hello, Giddy Gordon, and hello, Awesome Alex. Rainbow Man goes and sits by his friends Giddy Gordon and Awesome Alex, and the bus starts moving. It goes down country lanes, past houses and shops, and round roundabouts. Then Giddy Gordon starts singing the wheels on the bus. The wheels on the bus go round and round all day long. Suddenly, lots of people move to the back of the bus to get a better view, and Awesome Alex feels really squashed. Are you okay, Awesome Alex? Awesome Alex shakes his head. He does not like sitting too close to other people, as it makes him feel trapped. Why don't you go and sit on one of the seats near the front of the bus? Rainbow Man will come with you. Awesome Alex feels much happier at the front of the bus. Giddy Gordon tells Rainbow Man that it is because Awesome Alex has Asperger's that he does not like being touched and sitting too close to other people. Look, we have arrived back at the museum. I think it's time to go now, Rainbow Man. Rainbow Man and his friends climb off the bus, and they all wave goodbye to each other. Well, that's all for today. It's now time to go. Colourful swirls appear, and Rainbow Man starts swirling around with them. Swirling here, swirling there. Rainbow Man goes everywhere. Rainbow Man appears back at home in his rainbow chair. What an adventure! You really enjoyed yourself today at the Withall Transport Museum, especially when you went on a bus ride. Rainbow Man starts to cheer, woohoo! And you really like that old pink van that we saw? Rainbow Man nods his head and wonders if he could buy a small pink toy van. Maybe, Rainbow Man, we will have to look around for one. Rainbow Man smiles. I wonder where you will go on your adventures next time, Rainbow Man. Rainbow Man shrugs his shoulders. Well, goodbye, Rainbow Man. See you next time.
You're listening to Alex Manners on the Solihull Radio Children's Show.
If you need some answers, there's a way to find them by yourself. Everything you need to know is sitting right there on the bookshelf. Take a look inside a place that's full of wonder and surprise. You will find a whole new world will open up before your eyes.
Your library.
Everything you need to know.
Your library.
That's the place you need to go.
Your library.
Everything from A to Z.
Your library.
That's the place for you and me to find out all the things we never knew before for you to contemplate. Let me illustrate. How far is it to Neptune? Just what is a blue moon? Anyone can find it there in your library. Just how much does a hen weigh? What did famous men say? Anything they said, you'll find it there. Who was this fellow Plato? How to spell potato? That's so easy.
Find it there in your library.
Where's southern Mississippi? Just what was a hippie? Did they walk upon 4 legs or 2? Find a legend of the Sasquatch. Is he real or is he myth?
You can find it 1, 2, 3.
If you can spell it to begin with, if you've got a question like how many ounces in a quart, you can get it. It's a snap and stick it in your book report.
Your library.
Something to rely upon.
Your library.
Take a tip from Ludwig von.
Your library.
A place you cannot be without.
Your library.
It will make you sing and shout and dance about. Go look it up, you'll know what's up. Of that you can be sure. Now let's do some more. What color is a rainbow? How fast can a train go? Straight a bullet.
Find it there in your library.
When did Columbus land here? Wasn't that a grand year? You can find the name of history ships. How speedy is a jackal? Why does fire crackle? How hot is it?
Find it there in your library.
How do you play a bongo? How long will your song go? Well, I guess you won't find that in there. Who invented a zucchini? How to wear a beanie? Don't be such a weenie.
There in your library.
From abacus to zuni, even if it's loony, chances are it's goodly being there. What time is it in Finland? Is it hotter inland? Getting warmer.
Find it there in your library.
Where would you find a pygmy standing by a fig tree? Anything but you're assigned a penny card. Just bear in mind that you will find it right there in your library.
Right there in
your library. Your library. Oh, look at all the books.
That was a song from Disney's Mickey Mouse's Clubhouse, and I know I've watched that show before, and it's a fantastic show with all of your favourite Mickey Mouse characters, including Donald Duck, Daisy Duck, Goofy, and Pluto. And that was Scrooge McDuck singing one of his songs about his library. Well, what's going on in our local area over the next few weeks and over the half term that we can all go and join in with? Well, let me tell you some of those fantastic events. At Solihull Mill, there is a family fun day at the mill on Friday the 22nd of February, because that day is baking day. You can get hands-on and make some tasty pancakes to enjoy. They have a number of sessions running throughout the day, and as this event is always popular, make sure to book in your slot before you go and join in with their family fun at the mill. Then at Touchwood, they've got an event going on all about Get Building this half term from the 16th to the 22nd of February. Following the release of the Lego Movie 2, Touchwood will be opening its doors to a special Lego brick pit featuring Duplo for children under 3 and Lego bricks for children who are over 3. Children are invited to get creative as they build their own models and add shapes to the Lego brick graffiti wall. The more creative the better, as a grand prize will be awarded to the best Duplo and Lego brick builders. At the Birmingham Botanical Gardens, they have some wonderful events going on from the 18th until the 22nd of February. On Monday, they have arts and crafts, story walks, and bug hunting. On Tuesday, you can meet some of their animals, including corn snakes, panther chameleons, gargoyle geckos, and fire salamanders. Then on Wednesday, they've got more arts and crafts, story walks, and bug hunting in the gardens. On Thursday, you can go and meet their animals again. And on Friday, they've got more of the fun arts and crafts, story walks, and bug hunting. And one of my favourite events that is going on over the next few weeks is the Solihull Book Fest on Saturday the 9th of March at the Core Theatre. It's one of the biggest children's book festivals in the UK, and it's Birmingham's only dedicated book festival for 0 to 12-year-olds. And last year I was lucky enough to head down to another book fest in Bourneville called the Bourneville Book Fest, and I was really fortunate that I was able to meet and interview the illustrator for the horrible history, or should I say the horrible science books, Tony DeSaules. So you never know, I might be able to have another fantastic guest on one of my shows from the Solihull Book Fest, which is going on Saturday the 9th of March. And if all those events sound really interesting, then you can head down to Solihull Mill, Touchwood, the Birmingham Botanical Gardens, or join in with the Solihull Book Fest. All of those events are going on over half term, or on the 9th of March at the Core Theatre for the Solihull Book Fest. Well, I've got some more fun, fantastic songs to play for you now that Joe has chosen for me, and they're 2 more Disney songs. One is The Colours of the Wind from Pocahontas, and the other one is Yo Ho Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me. So, here we go, boys and girls.
You think I'm an ignorant savage? savage, and you've been so many places, I guess it must be so. But still I cannot see if the savage one is me. How can there be so much that you don't know? You don't know. You think you own whatever land you land on. The earth is just a dead thing you can claim. But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name. You think the only people who are the people who look and think like you. But if you walk the footsteps of a stranger, you'll learn things you never knew, you never knew. Have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or asked the grinning bobcat why he grinned? Can you sing with all the voices of the mountain? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the hidden pine trails of the forest. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you, and for once never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers. The heron and the otter are my friends, and we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a hoop that never ends. How high does the sycamore grow? If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear the wolf cry to the blue corn moon, or whether we are white or copper-skinned. We need to sing with all the voices of the mountain, to paint with all the colors of the wind. You can own the earth, and still all you'll own is earth, until you can paint with all the colors of the wind.
We're devils and taxis, really bad eggs, drink up me hearty yo-ho. Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. We're beggars and blighters and ne'er-do-well cats, drink up me hearty yo-ho. I was reared up by our mommies and dads, drink up me hearty yo-ho. Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. We kill and we plunder, we rifle and loot, drink up me hearty yo-ho. We sing up a Guppy, Guppy, hi-de-ho. Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. It's what we call exactly Guppy, hi-de-ho. Laura, and even hijack, Guppy, hi-de-ho. Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. We kindle and char and flame and light, drink up the honey-yo-ho. We burn up the city, we're really a fright, drink up the honey-yo-ho. We're rascals, scoundrels, villains and knaves, drink up the honey-yo-ho. We're devils and punching, really bad eggs, drink up the honey-yo-ho. Yo-ho, yo-ho, a pirate's life for me. We're beggars and blighters and ne'er-do-well cats, drink up the honey-yo-ho. I was rid of my mommies and bells, drink up the honey-yo-ho.
That was Yo-Ho, A Pirate's Life for Me, and I remember listening to that song when I went down to Disneyland Paris a few years ago, and they had that song playing whilst I was on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, which was a very, very brilliant ride, and a brilliant place to go, because there were lots and lots of different rides, all themed on Disney characters, like a Snow White ride, a Peter Pan ride, and a ride themed on Dumbo, where you can fly up in the air with Dumbo. Well, enough talk about my adventures to Disneyland, because now I've got another story to read for you, and this one is an Enid Blyton story all about Noddy, and this one is Noddy and the Giraffe. So I really hope that all you boys and girls are sitting nice and comfortably for Noddy and the Giraffes. It was a chilly day in Toyland, and Noddy was rushing about, running errands, trying to keep warm. "Hello, Dinah Doll," said Noddy. "Tessie Bear said you had an errand for me." "I've made 2 very long scarves to keep the Noah's Ark's giraffes' necks warm. Could you deliver them, please?" "Of course, Mrs. Noah will be pleased," said Noddy. "I had some wool left over, so I made a new scarf for you," said Dinah. "Thank you very much. This is just what I need to keep the cold out," said Noddy, and he set off for the Noah's Ark to deliver the giraffes' scarves. Mrs. Noah was delighted with them. "Look at these, Lord and Lady Giraffe," she said. "These scarves are just what you need to keep your necks warm." "Giraffes don't wear scarves," they replied snootily. "This is very cold weather," said Mrs. Noah. "You must wear scarves." "We would look silly," said Lord and Lady Giraffe. "We shan't wear them." "I shall wrap these scarves round their necks, whether they like it or not," Mrs. Noah told Noddy, "or they'll get sore throats." "If anyone tries to make us wear scarves," said the giraffes, "we shall dig in our hooves." The next morning, Noddy was very puzzled indeed. "Someone has knocked a brick off my roof." "Mr. Tubby," said Noddy, "and it's landed in my car. Who would do such a thing like that?" "Someone with a ladder, perhaps," suggested Mr. Tubby Bear. "Or a very tall someone," said Noddy. "Ha ha ha," laughed Mr. Tubby. "I don't think anyone's as tall as that, Noddy. Ha ha ha." A little later, Noddy was picking up a piece of rope from Sammy Sailor from Mr. Sparks. "What's wrong with those flags?" said Noddy, pointing to some very tattered mast flags. "Something mysterious has happened to those flags," replied Sammy. "Someone has climbed up the masts and chewed them under cover of darkness." "They might have been nibbled by a very tall someone," suggested Noddy. "Ho, ho, ho," chortled Sammy. "Ouch, no, Noddy. No one's as tall as those masts." Noddy drove up to Mr. Sparks' garage to deliver the rope from Sammy Sailor. "Hello, Mr. Sparks," he cried. "Why have you smashed a hole in your brand new sign?" "I'm trying to mend the sign," explained Mr. Sparks. "Someone knocked it off its brackets last night." "Goodness," exclaimed Noddy. "I think it must have been someone standing on top of a high truck," said Mr. Sparks. "Unless it was a very tall someone," said Noddy. "Hee hee hee," said "No, Noddy," laughed Mr. Sparks. "No one's as tall as my new sign." As Noddy walked past the police station, he met Mr. Plod, picking up his bush. "I really am cross," muttered Mr. Plod to himself. "Who's knocked this over?" "I'm cross too," said Noddy. "I'm cross because someone knocked a brick off my roof last night." "Sammy Sailor is cross because someone nibbled the flags on his ship's masts. And Mr. Sparks is cross because someone knocked down his new sign." "Aha," said Mr. Plod triumphantly. "I spot a link between these events. They all took place at a great height. so they must have been caused by someone bouncing up and down on a trampoline. I think they were caused by someone very tall, insisted Noddy. Just then, Mrs. Noah came rushing up. Mr. Plod, she cried, our giraffes are missing. I wrapped their new scarves round their necks last night, but they pulled them off and left the ark, and they haven't come home. They must be so cold and hungry. Giraffes are very tall animals, said Noddy excitedly. They could be the key to the Toyland mysteries. This is a tricky case, said Mr. Plod. I may have to sleep on it. Later that night, strange things were about to happen to Sly and Gobbo in the dark wood. May I have a jam sandwich, Gobbo? Asked Sly. No, they're mine, said Gobbo selfishly. I can hear monsters, shrieked Sly, suddenly, as he heard a loud crashing noise. They're coming this way. Don't be stupid, Sly, scolded Gobbo. There are no monsters in Toyland. Then he heard the scary crashing noise too, and saw two tall shadows loom towards him. Ooh, you're right. There are monsters, cried Gobbo. We must get away. Help! Let's hide in the tree. Said Lady Giraffe hungrily. I smell food. Delicious jam sandwiches. The two giraffes followed the trail of the Gobbo sandwiches right into the old oak tree. I'm not staying here, Sly, whispered Gobbo. I'm going to go and tell Mr. Plod about these monsters. I can't move, whimpered Sly. The next morning, Noddy went to inquire about the mysterious happenings. He found Mr. Plod outside the police station, looking at the bush. Good morning, Mr. Plod. Have the giraffes been found? He asked, as he passed him the watering can. No, they haven't, replied Mr. Plod. Just then, they heard a great commotion. Mr. Plod! Mr. Plod! Help! There are monsters in the wood, cried Gobbo. Noddy and Mr. Plod looked most bewildered. There are great, tall monsters in the wood, with long necks that break branches and eat leaves, wailed Gobbo breathlessly. Monsters, said Mr. Plod sternly. What nonsense! Great, tall monsters with long necks, asked Noddy. They must be the giraffes. Ah, yes, said Mr. Plod. Just what I was going to say myself. We must go and find them at once, said Noddy. The monsters broke these branches last night, said Gobbo, as they came to the dark wood. Not monsters, Gobbo, giraffes, explained Mr. Plod. Giraffes are monsters, insisted Gobbo. Hello, Mr. Plod, cried Sly. I've been guarding the monsters all night. He pointed to the hollow tree where the giraffes were still stuck. They hadn't been able to find their way out. Help, cried the giraffes. We're lost in this tree. Sly and Gobbo screamed with fright. Don't worry, Lord and Lady Giraffe, shouted Noddy. I shall lead you from the tree with Mr. Plod's torch, and we can use my scarf to help you get out safely. Your scarf? Asked the puzzled giraffe. Mr. Plod and the two terrified goblins looked rather puzzled too. You'll see, said Noddy, and putting his scarf back on, he bravely went off into the dark, hollow tree to find Lord and Lady Giraffe. Now, bend down your necks. There, he said. Now follow me. A few moments later, Noddy came walking out of the hollow tree, leading Lord and Lady Giraffe, with his scarf. Ooh, ah, screeched Sly and Gobbo. Giraffes! They turned to Mr. Plod in panic. Must go, said Sly. Things to do, said Gobbo. Mischief to make, said Sly. Goodbye, they cried, and ran off as fast as their legs would carry them. There you are, Lord and Lady Giraffe, said Noddy. Thanks to my scarf, you're free. So we are, chuckled Lord and Lady Giraffe. I say, perhaps scarves aren't that bad after all. Noddy, may I wrap your scarf round my chilly neck? No, you may not, said Lady Giraffe. I'm chilly too. If you go back in the ark, Mrs. Noah will give you your own scarf, said Noddy. What a good idea, said Lord Giraffe. And they let go of Noddy's scarf and hurried back to the Noah's Ark. Dear me, Noddy, said Mr. Plod. Look how those giraffes have stretched your scarf. Now I can wrap it round and round, said Noddy. My scarf will keep me warm all over. Mr. Plod started to giggle when he saw what Noddy had done. I don't look silly, do I? Asked Noddy. Oh, no, Noddy, laughed Mr. Plod. You don't look silly at all. Oh, dear, you look just fine. And that was Noddy and the Giraffes, written by Enid Blyton. You're listening to Alex Manners on the Solihull Radio Children's Show. And here is another song for you to get you moving and grooving. The time now is 9:30 and it's coming up to the last half an hour of my show today. And I really, really hope you enjoyed that story I read for you all about Noddy and the giraffes. And the song is a Caribbean song that will certainly get you all in the Sunday spirit for the rest of your weekend. And it's a Caribbean song from Reggae Randy called the Itsy Bitsy Spider. Here we go.
The sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. Itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and watched the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. Spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and watched the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and watched the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. The itsy bitsy spider went up the water spout. Down came the rain and watched the spider out. Out came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. Yes, ma. Itsy bitsy spider up the spout. Down came the rain and watched the spider out. Spider up this boat, everybody cheer and everybody shout like, oi oi, oi oi. Follow Reggae Randy now. Come follow me now. Yes man, yes man. Check this, check this, check this. It's Spider up this boat. Everyone a cheer and everyone a shout like, oi oi.
That was Caribbean and Reggae Randy with the Itsy Itsy Bitsy Spider. And now, here is another excerpt from the Koala Brothers. And this excerpt is called The Koala Brothers and George's Broken Satchel. So, if you enjoyed the previous excerpt from the Koala Brothers, then you should really, really enjoy this one called George's Broken Satchel.
If you're in trouble and you need someone to help you out, there's no need to whistle and there's no need to shout. Hey, 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 help is on its way. Call the Koala Brothers, call the Koala Brothers, call the Koala Brothers, call the Koala Brothers, help is on its way.
One morning, George the postman was in something of a hurry. He promised Archie he'd meet him for morning tea, and he was running a bit late. So he decided to take a little shortcut.
Seems to be stuck. There, that's got it.
But George didn't realise that he'd torn a hole in his satchel. Meanwhile, Frank and Buster were out on their daily patrol.
Can you see anything, Buster?
Sure, Frank. The back of your head and a cloud and...
Buster, I mean down there.
Oh, well, I can see something. Not sure what it is, though.
Let's have a look.
Look at this, Frank.
It's a letter for Archie.
Look, there's more.
This one's for Alice.
Should we tell George about the letters, Frank?
Yes, but I think we'd better deliver them first, Buster. They might be important.
Good idea, Frank.
Come on, Buster. First stop, Archie's house. Archie? Archie? He's not there.
He must be out jogging.
Just slide the letter under Archie's door, Buster. That'll do it.
Rightio.
Come on, we've got Alice's letter next.
A little later, Archie arrived home after his morning jog.
Oh, ooh, I say, I really gave it my all that time. Ooh.
Hello, Archie.
George, jolly good to see you, old chap.
You all right, Archie? We better get you inside.
Oh, good idea, old boy. Spot of tea, then?
When George opened the door, he found the letter that Buster had posted.
That's strange. I didn't post this letter under your door, Archie.
Is that so?
But, if it wasn't me, who did deliver it?
Oh, well, perhaps we've got a new postman, George. Ha! Someone to help you out.
Oh, dear.
Well, as long as we all get our post, everything is as right as rain, isn't it? Now, how about that cup of tea?
Maybe not today, Archie. Thanks.
Oh.
Hero.
Well, you'll always be the number one postman as far as I'm concerned, George. Oh, dear.
When the Koala brothers arrived to deliver Alice's letter, they found that she wasn't at home either. George was getting more and more worried. He thought that a new postman had taken over his rounds.
What am I going to do if someone else is delivering me letters?
And when George passed by Alice's house, he found another letter.
Oh, no, not again.
There you go, Lolly.
Oh, thanks, Josie.
George decided to ask Lolly if she'd seen the mysterious postman.
Lolly, wait!
What's up, George? Why so worried?
Oh, I think someone's taken over me job, Lolly. There's a new postman in town.
No.
It's true. And I don't know what to do.
Well, maybe you should go and see Frank and Buster. They'll be able to help you out, surely.
That's a good idea, Lolly. Thanks.
Oh, if it helps, George, we all think you're the best postman in the whole outback.
Oh, thanks, Lolly.
When George arrived at the homestead, the Koala brothers were still out on their patrol. So he decided to explain his problem to Mitzi and Ned.
That's strange.
There's only one thing for it, George. We're going to have to catch this postman when he least expects it. Ned, you go to your trailer in case he comes to your place. Right, Mitzi. George and I are going to hide in here, right, George?
Well,
Let's hide here. When the new postman comes along to deliver a letter, we'll pounce on him.
Are you sure that's a good idea, Mitzi?
Of course it is. Stand back, George. They'll see your hat.
Yeah, sorry, Mitzi.
Who's the next letter for, Buster?
Let me see. It looks like it's for... Whoop, oh. It's for Lolly.
Okay, hang on.
Hi, Frank. Hi, Buster. All that flying got you in the mood for an ice cream?
Don't mind if I do, Lolly.
Actually, Lolly, we've brought a letter for you.
A letter?
Yeah, we found some letters in the middle of the outback. There was one for Archie, one for Alice, and this one for you.
Oh, dear. So that explains it.
What do you mean?
George thinks there's a new postman in town. He's a bit upset.
Oh, no. But we're not postmen. We were just trying to help.
I think I might know how these letters ended up in the middle of the outback.
How?
George must have got a hole in his satchel.
Ah.
Come on, Buster. I've got an idea about how we can help George.
Oh, I don't know, Mitzi. We've been here for an awfully long time and we haven't seen a thing.
Don't worry, George. Someone will be along soon. I'm sure of it. I can't believe it. The mystery postman's Ned.
Oh, it can't be.
Gotcha!
Ned, are you okay?
What's wrong, Mitzi?
It was you.
No, Mitzi. These letters are from me. I wrote them for George.
You did?
Yeah, I thought if maybe you had some letters to deliver, George, you might feel better.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Ned.
Hi, everyone.
Oh!
We're back.
Frank, Buster.
Oh, cool. Oh, here I come. Oh, come on, fellas.
Hey, my letters.
Hi, Frank.
G'day, Buster.
George!
Oh, what took you so long? We've been waiting for ages. Someone's been delivering George's post and we don't know who it is.
Well, you see, George, we've got something we have to tell you.
We delivered those letters.
You? But how did you get them?
We found them.
We think there might be something wrong with your satchel.
Miss Satchel? Oh, what's wrong with me? Hang on. What's happened to Ned's letters?
They're right here, George. That's a pretty bad hole you got there.
You're right. It's a hole.
Well, George, that's why we got you this.
For me? Oh, thanks, fellas. What is it?
It's from everybody in town.
It's just our way of saying thanks for being the best postman in the outback.
And the only postman in the outback.
Oh, a brand new satchel.
Isn't it a beauty?
It's the nicest gift a postman could ever get.
What'd you reckon, George?
So thanks to the Koala brothers, everything turned out well in the end. And George was happy again. Now that he knew he was still everybody's favourite postman, he even had a new satchel from his friends to prove it.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks very much.
How did you know he'd like that satchel so much, Frank?
Because it's exactly like his old one, Buster.
Yeah, except for one difference.
What's that?
This one hasn't got a hole in it.
Oh, yeah.
You're listening to Alex Manners on the Solihull Radio Children's Show. And now it's 9:44 and I've got loads and loads of theme songs from some old children's shows to play for you and see if any of you, boys and girls, mums and dads, or nans and grandpas can remember any of these theme songs.
Can you see all the different coloured houses sitting by the sea? Well, this part of the story in Palamoreas, which is the house for me? Is it yellow? Is it pink? Is it orange? What do you think? Is it red, green, blue or white? Which coloured house do you think is right? Yellow house, orange house, blue, pink or white? Green house, red house, which do you think is right? Which colored house are we going to? Tell me, what do you think? Which colored house are we going to? Tell me, what do you think?
Look, I found something!
Every girl, every boy, come on, open up your eyes. There's a world right here, full of wonder and surprise.
Let's go and find the thimbles!
Thimbles, thimbles, thimbles.
We're the thimbles!
Thimbles, thimbles, thimbles.
We're the thimbles!
Sing along with Thimble, Florrie, and Baby Pom.
Let's go!
Little red tractor, he's king of the fields, getting his jobs done with Stan at the wheel. He's not the biggest, but he's a hero. Little red tractor, let's go! With Sparky and Nipper and Big Blue too, and lots more friends in tow. Little red tractor, let's go! Little red tractor, let's go!
It's Timmy time! Timmy, it's Timmy. He's the little lamb with a lot to learn. Timmy, it's Timmy. He's a handful of trouble at every turn.
Timmy leaves the farm and goes out into the world, trying to be cool, he's number one. He joins all his friends on the big adventure, and he's always having such a lot of fun.
Timmy, it's Timmy. He's the little lamb with a lot to learn. Timmy, it's Timmy. He's a handful of trouble at every turn, and he's always having such a lot of fun. Timmy, it's Timmy. He's the little lamb with a lot to learn. It's Timmy time!
Wash, wipe, scrub and clean, make the kitchen sparkle and gleam. My name's Ben, and my name's Small. We've got the cleanest kitchen of all. Tidy all the bits and bobs, the things that help us do our job. Ingredients we'll put away, ready for use another day. Pots and pans will start to smell if we don't wash them really well. And now it's clear, let's all smile, we'll be finished in a little while. All around, up and down, we've got the cleanest cafe in town. Wash, wipe, scrub and clean, make the kitchen sparkle and gleam. My name's Ben, and my name's Small. We've got the cleanest kitchen of all. Tidy all the bits and bobs, the things that help us do our job. Ingredients we'll put away, ready for use another day. Pots and pans will start to smell if we don't wash them really well. And now it's clear, let's all smile, we'll be finished in a little while. All around, up and down, we've got the cleanest cafe in town. kitchen sparkle and gleam. My name's Ben, and my name's Small. We've got the cleanest kitchen of all. Scrub, scrub, scrub. Tidy all the bits and bobs, the things that help us do our job. Ingredients we'll put away, ready for use another day. Pots and pans will start to smell if we don't wash them really well. And now it's clear, let's all smile. We'll be finished in a little while. All around, up and down, we've got the cleanest cafe in town.
A robot, hibernating fruit bats, a giant magnet or a plough, a letter, a parcel, a bouncy castle, an elephant, balloons or a cow, a giant cake as big as a car where PC Selby hides, a pony, a kite or tiny eggs with tiny little chicks inside. Special delivery service that is on its way.
Accomplished!
We're the Bobby Nugs. Yes, the Bobby Nugs. We're a group of friends. We're in a band too.
And through our binoculars we can see you.
'Cause we need your help when things go wrong. When we found some answers, we'll sing you a song. I am Nib and I'm the singer. Bob, bob, bobbly, bob, bob, bob. I am Bobbin, the keyboard player.
And I am Augie and I'm the drummer.
And the scratcher.
Oh yeah.
We're the Bobby Nugs. And the Bobby Nug bubbles. Bob, 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 on a bob, Bobby Nug bubble hat. Oh yeah, the Bobby Nugs.
You're listening to Alex Manners on the Solihull Radio Children's Show. Hello boys and girls, that's right, I'm Alex Manners and the time now is 9:54 and it's coming up to the last 5 or 6 minutes of my show. But don't go away because I've got another song to play for you before we head off to enjoy our wonderful, wonderful weekends. And there is one more event that I'd like to read out for you, which is from the DMS Heart of England Music Academy, where on Sunday the 7th of April at 7 p.m. they've got a fusion of music and dance festival going on at the Symphony Hall. So if you'd like to join in and attend the fusion of music and dance on Sunday the 7th of April at 7 p.m. at the Symphony Hall, then you can get in touch with them by emailing them on dorridgemusicschool@hotmail.com, or you can go to their website at the DMS Heart of England Music Academy, which is www.dmsfusionlive.com, or you can find them on Twitter as well. So if that sounds really interesting, then you can head down to join in with their fusion of music and dance with the DMS Heart of England Music Academy. And don't forget that if you would like to have any birthday messages read out on my show next week, then you can text those birthday messages in to 075 64 30 30 64. That's 075 64 30 30 64. Or you can email us on studio@solihullradio.com. And the same goes with any stories that you would like to read that for me to then play on one of my shows, you can email those recordings of you reading some of your favourite children's stories or even Disney stories to studio@solihullradio.com. Or you can find me, Alex Manners, on Twitter or Facebook and send me the recordings of those stories direct, and I will endeavour to play them on one of my upcoming Solihull Radio Children shows. Well, next week on my show, I've got lots and lots more wonderful, wonderful, wonderful music to play for you. Another fantastic adventure of Rainbow Man and his friends Giddy Gordon, Grumpy Doug and Awesome Alex. I've got some more jokes, facts and excerpts from some old children's shows to read for you. And don't forget, if you would like to listen to the excerpt and the story of Rainbow Man, where today he visited the Withall Transport Museum, you can head down to YouTube and go to the Rainbow Man Children's Channel. That's YouTube to the Rainbow Man Children's Channel, and you can listen to all those adventures of Rainbow Man again and go on all his adventures with some of his friends. Well, before we go today, here is a song to get you moving and grooving for the rest of your weekend. And just remember, whatever it is you're doing today and for the rest of your Sunday and over the half term, just remember to have fun and just enjoy yourselves in whatever it is you're doing. And this song is the CBeebies Presenters It's the Weekend song, and I hope it gets you ready for the weekend.
2 special days at the end of the week, so many ways to have fun. Saturday and Sunday are waiting for you. The weekend has begun. It's the weekend. Saturday and Sunday too. It's the weekend. There's fun to have and things to do. It's the weekend. The time for family and friends with CBeebies. That weekend feeling never ends. You can visit friends. You can have them round to play. You can pop to town and shop. Go somewhere special for the day. Kick a football in the park. Perhaps ride on your bike. Make and do or bake a cake. There's just so much to like. It's the weekend. Saturday and Sunday too. It's the weekend. There's fun to have and things to do. It's the weekend. Great to get out and about. It's the weekend. It makes you sing, it makes you shout. It's the weekend. The time for family and friends with CBeebies. That weekend feeling never ends.
Well, that song has definitely got me ready for my weekend and the rest of my Sunday, and I hope it's got you ready for the rest of your weekend and the rest of your Sunday. And don't forget that next week I've got lots and lots more wonderful, wonderful things to play for you, and lots more wonderful, wonderful songs, stories, and excerpts from some old children's shows. And don't forget that we have fantastic shows on Solihull Radio every single day of the week. So whatever kind of things that you like listening to, or whatever music that you like to hear, then I'm sure there'll be something for you on one of our many, many Solihull Radio children's shows. And you can head down to solihullradio.com to listen in live to any of our shows. And as always, I will be here again next week from 8 till 10 a.m. So if you've enjoyed flying with the Koala Brothers and joining Rainbow Man with his friends at the Withall Transport Museum, then join me again next Sunday at the same time from 8 till 10 a.m. Well, it's goodbye from me, Alex Manners, and it's goodbye from Rainbow Man. So until next week, au revoir. You're listening to Alex Manners on the Solihull Radio Children's Show.